Welcome to this clip on the procedure regarding new state aid. After watching this video, you should be able to describe the notification and standstill obligation. You should also be able to understand the practicalities of notification, list the different phases of the notification procedure, as well as summarize them. We first turn to the relevant legal basis. This is the text of Article 108, Paragraph 3, TFEU, also the text of Article 2 of the Procedural Regulation 2015-1589. Article 108, Paragraph 3 reads as follows. The Commission shall be informed in sufficient time to enable it to submit its comments of any plans to grant or alter aid. If it considers that any such plan is not compatible with the internal market, having regard to Article 107, it shall without delay initiate the procedure provided for in Paragraph 2. The member state concerned shall not put its proposed measures into effect until this procedure has resulted in a final decision. This requires member states wishing to grant new state aid to one or more undertakings to notify the Commission of their intention to grant this aid. This is a so-called notification obligation. Next, member states are required to wait for the Commission's approval to implement the notified measure. This is a so-called standstill obligation. This system ensures that member states only implement state aid that is compatible with the internal market. Only member states can notify new state aid to the European Commission. Notification of new state aid is done via an official notification form, which is available on the website of the Commission. The Commission's services competent to analyze and evaluate state aid notifications is DG Competition. Member states concerned must provide the Commission with all factual and legal information necessary to take a decision on the notified measure, including all relevant texts, draft policy documents, financing, and all other information about the measure concerned. Member states communicate as transparently as possible in order to allow the Commission to fully investigate notified measures and to enable a quick decision. The notification procedure consists of a maximum of 3 phases. These are the informal pre-notification contacts, the preliminary investigation, and the formal investigation. We start with the phase containing the informal pre-notification contacts. The Commission encourages member states to contact the Commission informally before officially notifying an envisaged aid measure. It allows the Commission and the member state to discuss the legal and economic aspects of the envisaged state aid measure informally and confidentially, to improve the completeness and the quality of the subsequent notification. The outcome of the discussion is non-binding and cannot be considered a formal decision. Next, we arrive at the phase containing the preliminary investigation, taking a maximum of 2 months. When a member state notifies a measure to the Commission, the latter will, prima facie, examine whether it constitutes state aid within the meaning of Article 107, Paragraph 1 TFEU, and, if so, whether it is compatible with the internal market. In other words, the Commission will verify whether the notified measure meets all state aid criteria, whether the beneficiaries concerned are undertakings, and whether the measure is compatible with the internal market under a treaty exception to the EU state aid ban. At the end of the preliminary investigation, the Commission will take one of the following decisions. First, the notified measure does not constitute state aid within the meaning of Article 107.1 TFEU. The member state may implement the notified measure. Second, the notified measure does constitute state aid, but there are no doubts as to its compatibility with the internal market. The Commission takes a no objection decision, and the notified measure can be implemented. The Commission faces serious difficulties to decide and therefore initiates the formal investigation procedure to further investigate the measure. Finally, there is the phase containing the formal investigation, in principle taking up to 18 months, although this is not a binding deadline for the Commission. The Commission must initiate the formal investigation procedure when it is faced with serious difficulties, preventing it from taking a decision during the preliminary investigation. A formal investigation procedure allows the Commission to thoroughly examine the notified measure and to invite interested parties to comment on the notified aid measure. The Commission can take 4 types of decision to complete the phase of the formal investigation procedure. First, it can conclude that the notified measure does not constitute state aid within the meaning of Article 107.1 TFEU. The state may implement the measure. Second, the notified measure constitutes state aid within the meaning of Article 107.1 TFEU that is compatible with the internal market. The Commission takes a positive decision, after which the state may implement the measure. Third, the notified measure constitutes state aid within the meaning of Article 107.1, but it is conditionally compatible with the internal market, the so-called conditional decision, which means that the state may only implement the aid proposal if it complies with the conditions stipulated in the decision. Fourth, the notified measure constitutes state aid, which is incompatible with the internal market, a negative decision. Consequently, the state is not allowed to implement the aid measure. In summary, we have discussed that member states are obliged to notify new state aid to the Commission. This is a so-called notification obligation. Notification is done by the member state using the notification form. The member state then has to await the approval by the Commission to implement the measure. This is a so-called standstill obligation. Finally, the notification procedure can entail 3 different phases: the informal pre-notification contacts, the preliminary investigation, and the formal investigation. This brings us to the end of the clip on the procedure regarding new state aid. Thank you for your interest and attention.